them, your 5 conference champions in the field, according to how you would have them ranked. I have Clemson number 1, Alabama number 2, Penn State 3. And then those are the conference champions. I've got Arizona State seeded 7th, a Big 12 champion, and Boise State seeded 12th as the 5th highest ranked conference champion. They will be the lowest seeded team in the field. So now that takes us to at-large teams, and my highest ranked at-large team is Texas. I think I'm all in on Texas. I think they could win the national championship. I'm not so convicted on, when we get to the end of this bracket, I'm not so convicted on the team I'm going to pick that I think that some of these other ones that I don't pick to win their conference, I mean, we saw it last year, can win the national championship. Texas can win the national championship. There's no doubt about that. Texas can run the table. They're that good. I don't think they will. Too many tough games, couple of tough road games, but they could. I mean, that's a loaded team.
I think one of the underrated things about the playoff last year, Rece, was kind of how wide open it was, right?
Right. Yeah.
Notre Dame, Penn State's a coin flip game, right? Mm-hmm. Bad pick, but it was a great game. But it was 2 evenly matched teams. Texas and Arizona State was an evenly matched game, went to double overtime, right? Like you don't have to, you don't have to say that. Did Texas have more talent? Sure. Even like the national title game was kind of wonky. Like it ended up being a close game. I do think the sport, because of NIL, because of player movement, has really like it used to be, Bama or Georgia. There used to be 2 or 3 up here and everybody chasing them. Now I feel like there's 15 that are kind of scrunched like one of those Scooby-Doo sandwiches, like down, and that makes it better for the sport. The theater has been we've come a long way since TCU Georgia. Let's put it that way.
Okay, I'm going to expedite it this way. I'm going to list the teams and save my last at large, because that'll be a fun discussion, I think. Okay. And then you tell me where you might differ. We might differ in terms of seeding or whatever, but I had Texas. I know
I have Texas. Should we go back and forth?
Texas in the field.
Yep.
Okay. I have Georgia in the field. You have them as conference champions, so you have them in. So I guess the other
I have Bama in the field.
You have Bama in the field.
Yep.
Okay. I have Ohio State in the field.
As do I.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you, I've got a major question about this one. Not that I don't believe in their talent. I have them in and seeded 8th. But this is one that it wouldn't surprise me if I miss it and they don't make the field. I've got Oregon in.
Okay. I don't have Oregon in.
Okay.
I don't have Oregon in.
Okay. All right. So we'll find out the differences here.
Yeah.
I have LSU in.
I do too.
Okay. And I have Notre Dame sneaking in as the 10 seed. Right on the edge. Do you have Notre Dame?
I do not have Notre Dame in the field.
Okay. The 2 teams that I have the biggest question marks beside how I put them in are the 2 teams that you don't have in the field, which probably says something. Oregon and Notre Dame. Who did you replace them with?
So I guess I replaced them with Miami.
Okay. I do not have Miami in the field.
I'm a believer in both of their lines, offensive and defensive. And I'm a believer that Carson Beck is a playoff caliber quarterback. Will we see the Carson Beck we saw 2 years ago? I don't know. But I think with a great O-line and good weapons, we see him be a high-end ACC quarterback. Miami is more talented than at least 10 of the teams they're going to play this year. Now, look, Mario Cristobal has stepped on a rake, to borrow a Rece Davisism. In fact, he stepped on a couple pretty hard. So you never know if there's a chance that he can blunder the end game like he did at Syracuse last year. We all remember Georgia Tech. There's some examples at Oregon. So I don't want to discount that notion, but also I'm a believer in talent compiled, and I think they should. I think this could be the year they push through and make the playoff. So I have Miami, and then I have Texas A&M. I am a believer in the holistic. And I have one left, so we'll each do our last one. I'm a believer in the holistic talent of Texas A&M. We often, listeners to this podcast, we know we are believers in offensive lines. I think they have a top 5 offensive line in the country. I think their skill is, which desperately needed to get upgraded on the outside, has been upgraded. And look, does quarterback play need to be elevated? Yeah, absolutely it does. But I am a believer in the Aggies. So their last high end relevant postseason game was probably a very long time ago, Rece.
Last national championship was 39. Last conference championship was when they were in the Big 12.
98.
There is a part of I referenced earlier, the text chain that you and Stanford Steve and I were on last night, and I instituted the term institutional albatross. That's Texas A&M. I agree with you. The components are there, and it's a great institution. So understand what I mean by that. I mean a football program that has hovering over it a recent history of finding ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. When you have an opportunity, it just doesn't happen. A&M last year. Now, probably unfair to bring up last year, Mike Elko's first year, young quarterback. You lose the game at Auburn, and then, Texas was better than them, and they lost. That happens. No big deal. Really good team. Got to overcome that. That's where I am with Miami. Now, Miami's figurative bird, the albatross hanging around the neck, it's only been there, 20 years. It's not like, 1939, but it's there. They've got to find a way. You think back, I've forgotten exactly which year. It might have been 17 when Miami had a chance. They lost a late game at Pittsburgh, didn't get in. They had a chance last year, didn't get it done. Got to find a way to shake that. That's a big deal for them. So those are the 11 teams that we have. So I'm going to tell you who all I considered seriously for the final spot in the playoff. Considered Miami for sure. Considered Texas A&M. Considered Iowa State. After what I saw Saturday and what they've got coming back.
Yeah.
The Flyer team that I know people may either drive off the road or wreck their computers watching on YouTube. You need a sleeper. You need a Flyer from the B1G. Watch out for Iowa.
The Mark Gronowski train.
Yeah,
all right.
They've got a quarterback. Yeah. Now, I know he's stepping up in weight class for sure. Guy's a winner.
Good player.
Gives him some quarterback run game. He's a very good player. I'd keep an eye on Iowa. Ultimately, that would have been safer than what I'm going to pick. Because last year we had a couple completely off the board.
We did.
That made it into the Indiana was completely off the board. Made it into the field easily. SMU was off the board. Almost won the ACC. Made it into the field. Considered
they
SMU.
Lost to Nevada in week 0 last
Right,
year.
exactly.
Do you remember that?
Yes, very probably should have. Didn't.
Yes.
Found a way to win, to their credit.
Yep.
Considered SMU as well. Pete, the team that I'm going to take, the crazy pick, the one that will be the worst pick ever. Worst pick ever. When it does, if it doesn't happen. No, when is probably right. But if it doesn't happen, a team that finished last year on a 6-game losing streak, a team that so badly botched from the sideline the end of their bowl game that I really should disqualify them from any future consideration to do anything good. However, they've got a great schedule. And they've got a season-ending game where they might just make old Miami step on a rake one more time. Last team in the field, your Pittsburgh Panthers.
Woo! How about that?
Eli Holstein at quarterback, Desmond Reed at running back. They can rush the passer. They've got a lot of guys on defense back who created a lot of negative plays. Granted, it is a flyer and a long shot, and Pittsburgh is also another team that will find a way to step into an empty elevator shaft. They'll go look for it and see if they can dive headlong into it sometime. I wanted to take a flyer. I was a chalk-eating weasel for almost all of the other 11 spots. There's got to be one. Last year, I was colossally wrong in taking Kansas to win the Big 12. I'm willing to go out on that limb and be colossally wrong and hail to Pitt.
It's a great pick, Rece. That's a great pick. A lot of
Oh,
eyes.
yeah, you said condescendingly.
No, I think it's like, look, I am all for, if we sat here and read 1 to 12, like that would not be very good content. So, and a lot of times we almost agree too much. So I did not pick, but I admire you being bold in picking Pitt.
I also considered Indiana and Illinois. I want to get those two mentioned.
Yeah.
I think they're both going to be very good. Sorry, please continue, Pete. I apologize.
So I am going to take Indiana with my final pick, which again,
shut up, let you say it.
No, that's fine. And I just think if you look at what Curt Cignetti has done with quarterbacks, going back to JMU, they have pretty much had the quarterback who is the conference player of the year or leads the conference in passing every single season. There's a lot of great buzz about Fernando Mendoza. I've taken in the offseason listening some to Todd McShay's podcast, Rece. He kind of breaks down individual players, does a great job. And he loved Mendoza. And Mendoza there's probably 10 or 11 quarterbacks who could be considered like first round pick-ish type guys this year. We are in a golden age of college quarterbacks. And I think Mendoza in that system, which has done nothing but produce effective and efficient quarterbacks, is going to thrive. They had the number 2 defense in the country last year, Rece. Now, are they going to have the number 2 defense in the country? No, but they have, all Big Ten linchpins at all 3 levels coming back on defense. So until Cignetti starts to lose games, I think I'm a believer from seeing it up close, and I think they just have a ton of personnel, and you got to trust him with his portal evals at this point.